invite. Come on now, hands on fire, thoughts taking flight. Together we shine, words intertwine. Get funky, journal party live. It's journaling time.
All right, party people, what is up? How's everybody doing this evening? Say what's up in the chat. I see we already got a little bit of chatter going on. Katie's ready. I'm ready. Kathy Poo's here. A little cold in New York, it looks like. Jen's here. What's up, Jen? Deidre's in the house. Good to see you. Nahal's here. Awesome. Awesome. Some of my favorite people. What's up, Patricia? Good to see you. Pen in hand, cat on lap. As you do. Good stuff. All right. So, who here is a people pleaser? Anybody, can anybody relate? Good evening, Norma. So, welcome everyone. I'm really glad you're here for this guided journaling session on moving beyond people pleasing. If you've ever felt exhausted from always putting others first, or maybe you struggle to say no, or you feel guilty for setting boundaries, well, you are in the right place. This is going to be a safe space to explore what's underneath all of those habits and then take steps toward prioritizing yourself without guilt or fear. Pretty good, right? All right. Let me know if there's any newbies in the house. See, my fellow people pleasers are here. Recovering people pleaser. What's up, Misty? Good to see you again. Nahal's a people pleaser as well. Yep. Well, I figured. I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it can be, right? But it's not a bad thing to want to be pleasant, want to be well received. Our reputations are super important, and when they get tarnished, a lot of bad things can happen. I think that creates a lot of fear. It does for me anyway. And ultimately, though, I think it's fortunately getting more accepted that the actual wisdom there is that you need to take care of your stuff, and that your efforts are best put towards at least starting with yourself, right? What's that saying? Put the mask on first. Airplane reference, not the movie, but you know what I mean, right? Like you gotta put your own mask on before you can help others, right? So tonight we've got an exciting program for us. I'm sorry, I didn't see if anybody was a newbie, but you know what? It's not like I'm not going to give you my spiel. Right? So let me get our program up here this evening. This one, for any of you premium members, this one lives in the Connection Compass section. So, Gabby, can you please explain what a people pleaser is? Well, it's quite literal. So a people pleaser is someone who is perhaps more focused on what others think of them than what they think about themselves. And so it has to do with approval seeking. It has to do with, maybe changing some of our behaviors, doing things that don't necessarily serve us just because we want other people to like us, or we want to be well received. And it's one of those things that I think a lot of us do. And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing to try to cater towards other people and to try to make other people feel good. I think that's a really good thing. But when it comes at the expense of ourselves, then we can get into a little bit of trouble, right? Like if you say yes to too many things, you end up spreading yourself too thin. Maybe I do that a lot with work stuff in particular. I get a lot of requests that come across my desk, and I want everyone to think that I got their back and that I'm supporting them, and that I'll drop important things to cater to things that maybe ought to have been prioritized a little bit differently. And so, some of the things that we're going to be looking at this evening are, well, setting boundaries, challenging some of our assumptions, and giving yourself permission to take care of yourself. I think, permission's a thing I talk about a lot because I'm so afraid of getting in trouble and, you know, people pleasing, right? All that stuff kind of falls into the same thing. But, I think that sometimes I need to give myself permission to break out of that. And so I've got some cool prompts. I think you're going to enjoy them this evening. So, Stephanie, welcome to your first live. Welcome. Glad you found us. So this is Journal Party Live. The thing that you're seeing on the screen is our app. So I'll put the QR code here if you want to grab the app. It's available in the Apple App Store and Google Play. And we've got all these really great guided journaling programs in there, one of which I will be streaming for us this evening. So we've got 10 prompts. 3 minutes are going to be allocated to each prompt, and I will read the prompt and then kind of disappear in the background, make sure the music keeps going. And at the very end, we all hang out and share, some insights that we may have gleaned from the experience. We're also a community, and so even if it's not necessarily related to a specific prompt or the program, feel free to share anything that you're working on, anything that you need some support in, anything that you want to celebrate, any feedback, anything like that, right? This is our community, and so make it yours. Come as you are, take what you please, and it's gonna be a good time. All right, so it's 6 after. I think it's about time to get started. So go ahead, open up your journal. For those of you who are new, don't worry too much about having like the perfect response. I'm not going to be checking what you wrote. I'm not going to be grading your work or anything like that. I think that most of the work here is just prompting in the prompt, like just prompting your mind. And, whether or not the perfect answer or response shows up in your journal right on time, oftentimes these insights will emerge to us later. Just because we have prompted ourselves. So the mind is a super cool tool and instrument. Sometimes it can be a jerk, but when we wrangle it like this, it can often do really great things for us. And so, all right, I think it's about time to get started here. Let me move some stuff around on the screen. All right, it's time. It's time. Teresa, at work, so half here, but wanted to try it. Yeah, well, look, even if you're passively doing it, or even if you're not even just writing, again, the prompts are where it's at. It's just the act of prompting your mind and creating some space for yourself to kind of break out of your normal way of thinking. I think that's kind of what we do here. All right, so let me see. I can't see the button over my screen. There we go. All right, counting us down. Get that journal ready. Here comes prompt number 1. Your needs matter. What is one thing you need today that you've been ignoring? Just start writing. All right, everyone, moving into the next prompt, the yes test. Think of a recent time you said yes when you wanted to say no. What stopped you? Your next prompt, rewriting the rules. What's one belief you have about being nice that might actually be hurting you? Permission slip. Write yourself a permission slip to say no when you need to. Silent expectations. What's something you assume others expect from you that you've never actually confirmed? Guilt check. Ooh, guilt. When was the last time you felt guilty for setting a boundary? Did you actually do anything wrong? The energy trade. What's one situation where you give too much and leave yourself drained? How can you balance that? I'm on the last page of this journal, you guys. This is very exciting. This next prompt is small acts of self respect. List a few tiny ways you can prioritize yourself today or tomorrow if it's too late in the day for you. Reclaiming time. If you had 1 extra hour today just for yourself, how would you use it? I'm loving all the insights and comments in the chat. This next one is your true voice. If you weren't worried about disappointing anyone, what would you say or do differently? All right, everyone. Hopefully, everyone feels like we did a good job. This was, it's interesting how some of these different topics hit, right? Without being too vague here. I just had the same thing coming up over and over again, and I think it's just because in my particular circumstance, situation, whatever, I have one particular thing that I did recently, where total people pleaser move. I think I said yes to something maybe I shouldn't have said yes to, and I'm a little nervous about it. I'm a little, I'm going to trust what I did because I think I trust myself. But I think that replaying some of this, it's like, okay, well, the next time this sort of thing presents itself where there's a big ask, um, that would require a lot from me and could, potentially take me off of the things that I care a little bit more about. There's some things that I can do in terms of getting out in front of that, setting boundaries, setting clear expectations. And I think, when I explore why I didn't do that, it's just total people pleaser stuff. I want people to like me, I want people to not only not only seek out my help, my skills and stuff like that, but also I want them to have like a good opinion of me. And again, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to do right by people and leave a good taste in their mouth. But I think where it's challenging is is where, it puts you in a tricky position. And one of the things that I had written down here, let me see if I can find exactly what I had written. Um, oh, it was on the permission slip prompt. That was an interesting one. I even wrote like the blank lines, like I, Alex Gallner, give blank Alex Gallner permission to say no to additional work and stuff. But I think that it's it's not only for my own benefit that I need to say no sometimes, but that it's also to maximize the benefit to others. Because like even though I didn't say no to this one individual, I I probably should have, because that would have allowed me to actually serve more people in a better way. And so like even though like in that particular moment, like I wanted this person to like me, I wanted them to be happy with what I was saying, um it wasn't actually like at the forefront of my mind that that the consequence of doing that would be to actually reduce some of the benefit that I was providing to others. And so that was kind of an interesting thing. Sometimes I think it's hard to say no, to set boundaries and stuff like that, because it seems like a selfish thing to do, but it's actually not. It's actually, like, at least in this case, for me, it's actually, it maximizes the benefit of more people, to be able to put those sorts of boundaries in place. So that's an interesting thing. I am a man of my word, so I think I take the commitments that I make very, very seriously. But I think being candid about how I'm feeling, and what I'm realistically capable of, and what my own preferences are. I mean, not to say we need to fall into the preference trap. I think that's a whole other topic we could journal on, about how, literally the preferences in our lives are, great source of pain for a lot of people. If you didn't have preferences, you wouldn't feel so strongly about it when things, didn't meet your preferences. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting session for me, and I think right on time as per usual with this community. So let's see. I was loving the comments tonight, by the way. It's always cool when I get a little insight. Not that I need to see what you guys are writing, but when I see that you guys are receiving the prompts well, and that there was some really, what was the quote that I loved tonight from Patricia? I will fill my energy cup before sharing with others from it. Such a wise quote. That's got to be from what is that? If you don't mind, share with the tribe, because that's I thought that was so cool. All right, let's see some comments in here. Okay, Kathy Poo said, getting better organized, especially in my miniature office. Okay. Teresa, me too. I avoid confrontation. Yeah, I think that's part of it for me. I was that way a little more so when I was younger, and I don't know. At some point, I got a chip on my shoulder and became a little bit more cynical, and now toxically so. I think I seek out confrontation sometimes. I have to catch myself when I do that. But yeah, I don't know. For me, it's more about the it's more about like actually wanting them to like be pleased, like wanting them to like what I'm saying and doing. Annie says, Kathy Poo, Beltran, being organized is awesome. The process of organizing is daunting sometimes. Yes, I need to do a little organizing myself here. We just had our whole warehouse, well, at least what was left of our inventory in our warehouse, sent back to us because we're changing our shipping partners. And I've got a lot of journals here, a lot of goods and stuff, and man, I'm not a warehouse, so I'm not used to organizing it, but I got to take some time to do that. Jen said, I run a nonprofit. People pleasing is my self-appointed job. I guess so. I've always wondered what that would be like, doing nonprofit work. I'm on like the extreme profit end. Not to say I'm just trying to profit here. This is my passion project. But yeah, I mean, I by trade, I'm a marketing consultant. And usually work for people who's, are only concerned with profit. That's like my biggest complaint is like trying to please the shareholders. Kathy says, three, no time to find yourself while being a mom, especially when your adult kids have disabilities. So that was rewriting the rules. Interesting. June says, good to be back here. It's been a while. Good to see you, Alex Gallner. Well, good to see you too, June Collins. Happy you're back. Gabby says, people like me for who I am. They tell me that they like the songs I sing at karaoke. Well, that's nice. I mean, you know, uh, make sure that you're singing the songs you want to sing, though, right? Don't just sing the songs other people want you to sing. That'd be people pleasing. Kathy says it very much is, but it calms my mind. Deidre says I'd take 30 to 60 days off for a mind, body, spirit reset. Ooh, that sounds lovely. I wonder if I could make it 30 days. I think I sort of like maxed out at about 2 weeks of like really chilling, and it's been forever since I've taken a good 2 weeks. Looking forward to honeymooning soon. I get married next month, and I guess shortly after that, I'll be going on a nice little reset. That'll be really nice. I need to get out of people pleasing and into spouse pleasing. I think that's going to be my new thing. Katie said, I like that, Deidre. Love the love. Mary Kay, I am giving myself permission to say no to things I know to energy vampires who will drain me and not allow me to leave a lasting impact. Yeah, that's one of those things where like life experience is good and discernment is good. Like being able to recognize when somebody is just a taker. Um, not to say that we shouldn't give freely, but when you like, I think that's the whole thing here is having some discernment in like what is actually good, like you know, what is really helpful, like when it boils down to it. And a lot of that boiled down to like the energy. At least for me, that was I had a similar response in a lot of my prompts and just realizing like, okay, well, like even though I want this person to like me, like is saying yes to this request, is that going to leave me with enough in my own personal energy tank to do the things that I want to do and like also just to like keep the promises that I've already made. Like some of it just, I get spread so thin. And yeah, I mean, that's it's kind of like it's tricky too, right? Because like it feels good to be needed or wanted. And like I think like my ego gets all pumped when somebody's like, because they'll seek me out, right? Like I've developed some pretty cool skill sets that, are in high demand. To my own horn. But people come up and they butter me up, like, oh, you're the best at this, and like, yeah, we would love it if you can do this. We can't pay you anything. And I was like, no. And I'm like, but you're my friend, so I'll do it. And it's like, I probably shouldn't have said yes to that. But yeah, being able to discern what it's going to do to your energy and overall output is, I think, important. Gabby says, find an empty shelf and put all the new journals in it. Stay organized. Yes. Well, I'm running out of shelves, I got to tell you. All right. Let's see. Annie says, when I have communicated what I needed in the past, most recently with work, even with backup, I keep getting told that's not true and that's not what I need. And it's frustrating that you often give up. Let me read that again. When I have communicated what I needed in the past, most recently with work, even with backup, I keep getting told that's not true and that's not what I need, and it's frustrating that you often give up. Interesting. So I'm hoping that I'm understanding this correctly, but it sounds like you just have like differing ideas about like what's needed in your work environment, and that can be tough. I mean, because like in in like an employment situation, let me get some music going again. Sorry. In like an employment situation, um, you may not have like agency or autonomy, right? Like you may not be able to decide like what is best because that may not be, within the scope of your role. And that's tricky. That's tricky. Um, and so, I think that's a tough one because like on one hand, like you have to find like a good work-life balance and like happiness within your work situation. You want to feel good about it, but like also, part of that whole role and that whole arrangement is like abiding by like whatever system has been set up. And so, I mean, if you're noticing that, I mean, I guess I would. It's I don't know. We have some programs called. We have a program called Burnout to Balance, which you might want to take a look at. And in that program, it's mostly geared towards working professionals and establishing that work-life balance within those sorts of roles. And there may be some boundaries that you can set, but again, it's tough because like those roles can often be like well defined, and stepping out of them would be breaking that like an existing boundary. But I think also what's coming up here for me is just like self advocacy and finding ways to like articulate what your needs are and also just how you're feeling. I think that one of the things that I learned in therapy, actually, particularly like when it comes to interpersonal relationships and needing to like really be heard, especially as it pertains to like some sort of conflict that could be coming up, is to use I statements, because even like as long as you're still within like the confines of that role, that situation, those circumstances, it's still your truth, like how you feel in any given moment. And so I think, without knowing too many of the details here, you're talking about what you need, which sounds like super super tangible, but like I think if you can find a way to articulate like how you're feeling or like how it's affecting you, it's like just again, not knowing too much about your scenario, but like let's say there was like a manager, right? Like it's your manager's job to make sure the job gets done, but it's also your manager's job to make sure everyone's feeling good, right, and able to do their job. And so if you can articulate that it's like particularly burdensome on you, and for whatever reason, like that's your truth. And I guess there is some risk involved in that, right? Because if like people feel like you're not up to the task, like, well, that's not a great thing. But yeah, I think that's one to journal on for sure. Kathy said, "My silent expectation is being perfect in all I do, and it's from childhood trauma, comparison to others." Oh, I feel this so much. Yeah, comparison's tough. And yeah, just that expectation and being perfect in all that you do. I mean, I was, heavily like rewarded as a child for like being the best at things, right? Like being the best in school, mostly. That's all I was really the best at. But it made me feel like if I wasn't the best at like sports or anything else, like I was just not worthy. And that's tough, and obviously I think it's important that we give our parents some forbearance in that. Like one of the biggest things for me was like hitting a certain age and realizing that like, oh, my parents, like when they said that thing or whatever, like weren't older than me, like they were my age, and like I still feel like a kid in some ways. And so it's like obviously everyone hopefully is trying their best and doing the best with what they can, but it's an unfortunate just reality that humans, I don't know that we really have the capacity for unconditional love. Maybe we do. I think because I think I mean, if you wanted to be spiritual about it, like if you're if you're in the image of your creator and your creator has unconditional love, then hopefully you can aspire to that. But I think that like the reality is most of us fall short in that sense. And it's okay because most of us, if not all of us, do, but it doesn't make it any easier. And so yeah, it's tough, I think, but you can give yourself approval, and that's been a huge eye opener for me. I mean, I try to boil things down into, whether or not it's me, people pleasing and seeking approval, or whether it's me just being a control freak, or me just being scared for my own safety. Those are usually the things that kind of drive any neuroses for me. And one of the things that's been useful as it pertains to like the people pleasing aspect of it, and the seeking approval, is just realizing that the only approval that really matters is the only approval that you can really like understand and like fully receive and experience is the approval that you give yourself. And so, I mean, I think with that, at least what I've been trying to do is just literally carving out time to give myself approval. And that can look like affirmations. That can look like, treating yourself, or rewards. But it's good to acknowledge yourself, because I mean, look, I mean, that you've had childhood trauma and that you've come through it, right? And so that's that's one of those things that you can give yourself approval for. And I think the more that you can do that, we can sort of shed the need for that approval from others. And the irony, like the grand irony in all of that, is like the second you let go of needing it from other people, it's like when it floods in, it's just the craziest thing. Jen says, how does everyone decompress when they have spent all day kissing booty? Oh man. Well, I think, look, a lot of people like, I think that's probably why happy hour exists. Not saying that's like necessarily like the healthiest thing, but we all have different ways of coping, and like, hopefully we're not self-medicating and stuff like that in ways that aren't healthy. But for me, I think, it comes down to that permission thing. Like, I literally just have to give myself permission to unwind and, have some time for myself, right? Give yourself the self-care, the self-love that you need. And I think I don't, again, I don't know what kissing booty entails for you, but I think when we get healthy within ourselves, we then orient ourselves to the external world in a healthier way. And maybe it doesn't look so much like kissing booty. Maybe it looks maybe it looks a little more like shared excitement or shared joy. I think that's probably the healthier thing. And even if you're gassing someone up, right? Like, it, rather than looking at it as like just buttering them up, like, if you're genuinely excited that person is being complimented or whatever, that's how I would look at it. But yeah, obviously I'm not the only one with insights here, so please, anyone in the tribe want to share with her. Gabby says, I take 1 hour away from everything once a week. I rejuvenate and calm just to see a massage therapist, and it makes me feel better. Oof, massage. That's a great idea. That's a great way to decompress. Love that. Kathy says, blasting music and journaling. Katie says, I can't wait till next Wednesday for the next journal party. Well, me either. It's like the best part of my week. June says, you are not for sale. I mean, I'm just kidding. I couldn't help but think like, well, what would I be for sale for? That's the trap. You're not for sale. Okay, Alex, what's the name of the book? I don't remember what I was talking about where I mentioned a book. So sorry if you can spark my memory. I'm already like 4 thoughts ahead, I think. So I lost what that's in reference to. You said advocacy, and I'm a self-advocacy for special needs adults and with disabilities. That's awesome. And he says, my doctor backed me up on a medical situation, and they told my doctor they were wrong. Huh. Well, that's odd. Yeah. I don't know what, you know, like with, I guess, do you seek like a second opinion or, yeah, I don't know. That's one of those things. I normally yield to the doctors, whatever they're saying, no matter what. So who took? I guess I'm wondering, like, you mean, all right? I'm connecting the dots. Sorry. So this is from the work comment before. So so your work situation told the doctor that they were wrong. That's weird. That's real weird. I mean, that's like an HR sort of thing for me. Deidre says, starts with awareness of one's behaviors. Always self awareness. I find one thing I want to watch for in what I do for others. Is it helping to fill my cup or is it draining? Yeah, got to be mindful. Let's see. Jen, I walk away and for every kiss I gave them, I give myself an affirmation. That's a nice little practice. Then I can review what I can do differently next time. Oh, Any Ale does have a book out. I published it. Okay, so we're talking about a different book. Okay, I thought I was talking about a book, and I was like, "When did I talk about a book? I don't know about the book." All right, folks. Well, I'm clearly running out of mental faculties, and so I need to do some self care. This was good. This was good. I'm feeling nice and relaxed, and I have a little bit more clarity on a recent situation that I was mentioning earlier. I like to bite off a lot more than I can chew because it feels good to be needed and wanted and loved. But you know what? You gotta be mindful of your outputs and what you're giving of yourself. Okay, ale is it ale or alley? I, Ale would be the phonetic, right? And Yolanda's here. Yolanda, I haven't seen you in ages. Good to see you. Awesome. Glad you made it. Well, all right, folks, we're about to wrap it up here. But couple bits of housekeeping. So we recently added a Monday Zoom session, and we're doing it in the mornings. And this is for the premium members. So if you want to sign up for that, here is a QR code. Oops, let me get the Journal Party logo out of the way. And yeah, so that little QR code, and also just inside of the app, I guess I can probably just show you this. Hold on. So inside of our app, under the premium section here, we've got these new premium Zoom sessions that we're doing every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So that would be 11 a.m. Eastern. And we just had our first one this past Monday. It was awesome. So it's a little different than this in that we're not drilling through prompts. We're actually just doing stream of consciousness journaling for like 20 minutes. Then we do gratitude and goals. And then we have an accountability board. So, you can share what it is that you want to be held accountable for. So I'll give you an example. Like this week, I wanted to make 3 new ads, try to get people into our 7-day daily journaling challenge. And oh yeah, Kathy was there. What's up, Kathy? And yeah, so next week, when we all get on, right, like we take notes on what everyone said they wanted to be held accountable for, and hopefully everyone can keep their promises to themselves. But I think having that accountability, like sharing that with us, and in a friendly, safe space, encouraging space, but also like productive space, it's super powerful. And I know that it's lighting a fire under me to get the things that I need to get done. And it's just typically I'm more so a morning journaler, I would say, and I think I definitely view it as like a productivity hack, and a creativity hack, right? So, just getting my creativity primed in the morning at the beginning of the week, setting goals, and then now actually having community to be able to, hold myself accountable. For me, it's awesome, selfishly speaking, right? Because I work from home. This is my office, and a lot of times I'm here just like working by myself all day. Like I think things are cool, and that I'm doing, but like I don't have people necessarily to share them with, and yeah. So I don't know if you're at all feeling isolated in like a home office sort of situation, even if you get a chance to break away during work or whatever it is. We're doing those every week, every Monday now, and those are for premium members. So if you're not a premium member, there's a trial if you want to hop on and check it out. But we're going to be doing that every week from now on. So yeah, check it out. Come hang and yeah, we'll make sure that we all are productive productive journalers of society. Right? All right, folks. It's time for me to relax, time for me to kick it, but I want to thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart for showing up week in, week out. Really makes all of this work worth it for me. It's not an easy thing necessarily for me to, put all this on, but it is 100% worth it. It is just the best part of my week every week. And so really appreciate you all and looking forward to the next one. All right. Everyone have a wonderful